Hello, hello, hello. I am Kasasagi Usagi, and I am here with more Pillars of Eternity. Forgive me my delay. Um, so, as I have spoken about before, Pillars of Eternity isn't up, because I was Russian. Um, I have recently acquired, it's been 2 months now, it's cycled forever. I've recently acquired a fish tank, and I've got some Cories in there. I got a couple of Platties. I'm trying to get some coolie loaches, but they're hard to track down at my local stores. So I've just recently, just moments ago, put some ghost shrimpies in there, and I was making sure they got all acclimated okay. And one of them is Pregante. She is full of eggs, so she is just so filled with eggs. So that's a thing. Very exciting. They all seem to be doing quite well. They're getting along. But let's do this. I leveled up everybody. Everybody's healthy. Everyone's the right level. So hopefully people won't get slapped immediately when this man inevitably kicks our ass.
Certainly.
For those who don't remember, this guy wants to destroy his adopted daughter, or just put a soul of his son in. I don't remember. It's fucked up. And then his actual eldest son is like, "Hey, you gotta kill my father," and I'm like, "Deal." This is okay. So last time I said it's poison, and he attacked me, and then I say, "What if I said?" I'm gonna say it's poison again. Okay. I probably could have handled this better. I'm gonna turn you into a beastie. Oh yeah, one of the big problems is I don't have a deer to do a lot of the tanking that I need done.
Need something?
Yeah.
Lavar.
Yeah, if that doesn't work, I'll see what I can do about high int or resolve. I think I might be close to one of them. I just wanted to give it another college try. How you doing over here with all that? No, bear is incredibly squishy. We're about to lose my priest, which will be the end of all things.
Mow it.
Lava will be unseated.
Hey, you know what's not going super badly? This.
Lavaru.
Hey, some more tentacles.
Beyond. Seek.
Hell yeah! My cat just, I was like, hell yeah! And he did a meow! Like, just like me. Just didn't do it. Fuck, guys, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make this whole thing happen. I can't believe we did that. That one girl was like, oh shit. Do you think we're gonna get kicked out of the Twin Elms for destroying an entire clan? Also, this is all mine now.
Certainly.
A simple test. That's settled. A simple test.
Lyris looks you in the eye and gives you a slow nod.
A simple test. That's settled.
Don't mind me. Just looting. Well, I've handled things both better and poorer in the past. Virtue guides your hand. Yeah. I am going to get arrested immediately. There's no way I could do that without facing severe consequences. I feel like my game should actually end. Now everyone's cool with that? Alright. So this place was nice. I'm gonna go over here now, because I don't think I've seen it. Oh, now I'm getting arrested. Oh.
You have stayed true to our cause, Inquisitor, when so many others have not. For every heretic we confess, for every betrayer that burns on our pyres, new sheep continue to flock to Iavara ex Incios. But not you. I underestimated you in the beginning, but no longer.
You honor me, Grand Inquisitor.
It is not for honor that I summoned you today, but for duty. Too many of our own have confessed upon the wheel and the rack and the flame. Too many of our faithful have had their minds poisoned by the Kratom witch. The tide is against us now. We have but one option. Iavara's following must see her exposed for what she is. She must confess her heresy before my court.
How would we reach her?
Not in Kratom, surely. Their lord has embraced her heathen faith and protects her with his army. But in Oceanus, things would be different. The king of Oceanus is a sinful man. We have helped him to see the error of his ways, and now he fears for his soul. He would pay any price for absolution.
But how would we get Orveva to move to Oceanus?
You have already done much for the Inquisition. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
Theos puts his hand on your shoulder.
Yes.
I didn't do anything. Two identical women seem to fade into view as they move away from the great trees that camouflage them. Their skin is tree bark, rigid and scaly, wreathed in curling tangle of roots, buds, and blooms. Their hair hangs beneath the shade of serrated leaves like the drooping branches of the elms above, and the pupils of their eyes are encircled by hundreds or even thousands of concentric rings as if to mark the accumulated wisdom of millennia.
Turn around, flesh creature. Outsiders are not permitted to approach the elms.
One of them extends a snarl root towards you that snakes and twists together to form something like an open hand, palm down. The other stares at you unblinking, and as her frown deepens, her face creaks. Do you not feel it, sister? Something familiar. An ancient soul like the other one. Another defiler, no doubt. Let us fell her and be troubled no more. It would pay the debt of her predecessor.
So it would seem, Rhiannon. But we must not hasten to judgment. I see a different motive here. Different questions in these eyes.
This is Edelgard again, by the way.
What of it, young trespasser? Is it as my sister says? Or are you here to stain this place with foul deeds?
I would gladly burn this place down, but I have pressing secrets. I seek a man who came through here. It sounds as though you have already met him. There, by her own admission, Sita.
Really, sister? And you wonder why your leaves begin to fall out before midsummer. Clearly that man did not want to be followed. Whatever the relationship here, I suspect it is anything but cordial.
Sita turns back to face you.
The answer is yes, old one. We crossed paths with Theos not long ago, and we can tell you where he went. But I find it curious that anyone would seek him out. Suspicious, even. If we are to help you find him, we would know why.
Stopping him might end Waywind's legacy.
So that is the reason he passed this way. This is low, even for the Leaden Key.
Oh.
I told you we should have confronted him, Sheila. He has always been a poison.
It would have been the last thing we ever did, sister. Who can be said to have ever gotten the better of Theos?
Yes, but imagine how much fun it would have been. Can't you just picture him all strung up in vines like an angry little puppet?
But that's not what this is really about, is it? You are bound to that man.
Sita glances over at you, and then her expression changes as though seeing you for the first time.
I see it now. You are awakened. Your soul is awake, and something once buried deep now wells to the surface. Past overwhelms present, closes in around you. Your time has nearly reached its end.
I just need to get to Theos.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but Theos cannot give you what you seek. Nor can any man. An awakening cannot be undone, any more than your past can be undone.
So has this all been for nothing, and I'm going to lose my mind?
The soul is formless without a past to shape it. Did you truly expect to be able to wipe it away?
No, but I had hoped it would be something I could forget. A mercy to be sure, but how can you grant mercy to a soul that has already judged itself guilty?
However, as much as my sister speaks truly that there is no way back from an awakening, there may yet be a way forward. Would you agree, Shiva?
I would. Were the way not so likely to end in death.
What is it?
The man Theos you must already know by now. You are linked by a common past. Something about it lingers within you, festering, unresolved. What it is I cannot see any more than you. And without that knowledge, your doom is certain. But were you to learn the source of this discord, perhaps it could be put to rest. Though it is equally possible it will trouble you as much now as it did then, and merely speed your condition to its end.
My past comes to me in pieces. How do I unlock the rest?
You might wait for it to come on its own, of course. But when it comes, it will replace your sanity's last breath. Such is the nature of your condition.
Or you could learn it from someone who already knows.
Theos, would he remember?
It is said the gods made his memory perfect, that he may never forget his charge. If he ever knew, he still does.
Not that he would tell you, of course.
You have followed the right person for the wrong reason, it seems. We see it often beneath the elms. The soul dragging mind and body to unknown places for unfathomable reasons. You may have wandered into Theos's path many times, in many lifetimes, without an awakening to show you why.
The only thing that's certain is you did not find what you sought.
You said you know where he went.
He has gone down beneath the tower to a place older than we, where the people of Engwith once walked. He makes his way to the buried city, Sun and Shadow.
May he stay down there and rot with the remains of his people.
He may yet. He won't be returning the way he came, that much is certain. He opened a secret path in the tower's base, and saw it destroyed behind him through some vile means.
Is there another way to get to him?
We know of one. On the burial isle, through the court of the penitents, Braeth Yaman. A shortcut, in fact.
Don't be cruel, sister. The way my sister speaks of is not for the faint of heart. A great pit at the center of a forgotten court, where faiths were judged in place of crimes. To most, it is simply a gateway to death. With the help of the gods, it can take you where you want to go.
What do you mean with the help of the gods?
The pit is said to have been a means of judgment by the gods. Those cast into it are meant to die. It is that way you must pass to reach Sun and Shadow. The court is old. We do not know much for certain, but it would seem only the gods themselves can grant passage.
What is this court?
No more than a ruin now. It is older than we, a place for the trial of heretics. We were not here to witness it, but at one time there was a group that refused to acknowledge the gods. Neither the first nor the last, of course, but these were numerous and all put on trial for it. Those who did not repent were cast into the pit and imprisoned below. The fall killed them, of course. The prison was not for people but for their souls, and their sentences were eternal. It is said that many of the condemned repented and were permitted by the gods to ascend from the pit, so long as they pledged their service to one of them. But these are old legends.
How would I ever get the gods to help me?
Behind us is Ter Evron, said to pierce the shroud itself and a place of communion with all gods. If ever there was a time for prayer, you have found it.
Who would I pray to? Any god you can, I should think.
I would pray first to those gods you like best. I hope for your sake the feeling is shared.
Fuck. That is cool. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but I'm liking it a lot. Because you've learned about tons of gods. And like, everyone has a god for the most part. You know, there's Aothis and Margren, and there was, I've done a lot of things to learn about a lot of gods. I've also sort of done a lot of shitty things, so we'll see how this plays out. I'm really interested. How do I pray?
Ter Evron is also called the Hall of Stars, and the stars show us the allegiances of the gods. When stars are in conjunction, we know the gods they represent are aligned as well. You should choose a place to pray where you'll be closest to those you want to hear you. If a god stands alone, you should pray to that god. If they band together, you should address them all. Choose your words wisely, for all gods expect proper homage, and none has patience for fools.
So the only way to get through this pit is to pray for help.
Not the only way. Just the only one that doesn't end with your body impaled on jagged rocks.
Is there no other way?
None.
Good.
Before
Alright.
you go, tell me this, old one. I'm curious. If you were to subdue your enemy, what would you do with him? What would give you peace?
I wish to undo the harm he's caused.
You would need to have twice as many lifetimes as he to repair his savage work.
But perhaps there are strides you can make.
All the same, think on this matter. Be assured in your course. In the end, it may mean all the difference, not just to his soul, but to yours. And be warned. Some questions have answers that can never be learned, and it is those that trouble the soul above all others. May you find an answer to yours. Yes? Oh?
Okay.
What do you wish to know?
How did you know I was pursuing Theos?
The same way that you are no doubt able to peer into the ether and experience the souls of others. It is something we are born with, some more, some less. A gift common to many creatures of the wilds. You share certain similarities with the man you pursue. For your sake, I pray they are few and of no consequence.
You mentioned that people come to the elves without knowing why. A soul has a will all its own. Its needs and whims are seldom understood, but they follow them all the same.
There is something about this place that reaches beyond our understanding. Something like a beacon. The elms have a way of uniting souls that have been seeking one another, with or without their owner's awareness. Sometimes it is for love, sometimes for vengeance, sometimes for peace. Often it is for no reason we will ever know. In your case, let us hope it is for peace.
Or vengeance.
I want to know about the two of you.
There is little to be said about us, for we are bound here, caretakers and defenders of this place. Our journey has been over time, but not distance, measured in observations, but not experiences. We have seen the elms grow tall. We have seen cities built, burned, and built again. The only constant has been the tower, a silent companion through the ages. You can imagine why this recent destruction has stirred my sister so.
If you do nothing else, make that man pay for what he did here.
Until we meet again, old one.
Yeah, it is very lore heavy. There's lots of books and stuff too that you can pick up. They're not super long, but they have it's tons of lore. Yeah, lots of books, and you can like get super deep into the story of this game. And it's all very, very interesting. Like, it's a really good fantasy world. And what you play is only like a fraction of the world too. You're only in one, it seems like you're only going to be in like one little area, the Direwood. But like there is just so much more out there. There's the Republics, and you're in such a, you only play in such a small portion of this world. This is probably to learn about the gods. Shattered and charred stone blocks the passage to the Son of Shadow.
This
place is one where a spirit may heal itself. Hmm?
Yeah, indeed. I know that one.
Certainly. Yes. Yes.
That's the watch, not the watcher, the mystery one. Seen and unseen.
Oh?
Oh, I see. A piercing ring fills your ears as you near Whale's shrine. There is no other response. These three are together. In the nearby constellation, you can make out the shape of a strange horned beast. From time to time, you think you sense a faint chill emanating from the shrine itself. Hold on a second. Nothing happens when you approach Wodoka's shrine. Abidan, Margaret, we've heard a lot about these two. We haven't heard a lot about. Before the shrine sits the constellation of the snarling hound, Fangs Bared. Oh, hold on. The shrine sits before a bright constellation, its stars forming an oval shape of an egg. A pair of wings sprout from the egg, stretching out to either side. In the glittering stars of the nearby constellation, you see the grim shape of a skull, its jaws wide as if frozen in a silent scream. Where's Aothis? Does he not get to be here anymore? Or is it Waidwin Aothis? I forget. The lore is hard. Oh, thank you, Devil. No, it doesn't seem like it. So you can't pray to Wodoka, and you can't, or Waidwin, and you can't pray. I don't particularly think this god is bad. He's like the he doesn't do anything. He sees all. We learn about him in Defiance Bay. Alright, let's start with... If we're gonna start with anyone, we should start with Margaret, I guess. Well, it's not technically Margaret. You kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. Oh, fuck. I need to be way more knowledgeable about this than I currently am.
Oh?
Yeah. Shit, hold on. I might actually have to read things. When my students ask to be taught the way of Galloway, I tell them they have already failed. Does one ask a deer to present itself as dinner? Of course not. One must outmaneuver, and overpower the deer. I've already lost my place. There's so many words. And the deer, if one dreams of venison. So it is with the Seeker God. To ask a question is weakness, to idle indecision. To seek answers is to understand, and to become one with Galloway. Survival begins with strength from within. But I only strike my students when they ask the second stupid question, for all of us begin young and weak. It is a point, fact, and not one of shame and central tenet to Galloway's teachings. Perseverance and cleverness are prized by Galloway above brute force, a fact my young pups often forget. It is right and proper that the strong lead the weak, and it is equally proper that the strong be continually tested until the balance changes. Galloway celebrates the strength of the victor and the prowess of the well-fed predator, but above all, the clever hound celebrates the transformative nature of strength. Galloway's greatest desire for us to become the prey becomes predator. Mewling babes grow strong hunters, and the lost find their own enlightenment. This philosophy is best exemplified by the rites of Amafatha and of Erganath. When one of the Gallifin spiritual leaders is old and nearing death, it is customary to enter the woods and confront Galloway's herald. If the Seeker God finds the enemy's life, deeds, and soul worthy, they are rewarded a quick death, and his soul joins Galloway's pack. If deemed unworthy, the Amafath is killed, his soul forced to find its own way to the next life, and his memory erased from the records of the tribe. Survival begins with strength from within, and weak leaders endanger the whole pack. This is Galloway at his purest. Even at the end of one's life, one must struggle for worthiness, for greatness, just as one struggles every day to feed his pack. The Seeker God is easy to understand if one actively engages in the quest for knowledge, but his secrets are occluding to those who merely ask, desiring knowledge without the requisite hunt. My own flesh and blood once asked me, will learning to hunt please Galawain? I told him yes, but added, Galawain prefer that you learn that you hunt to learn. um, Abaddon. Margren. Margren. Woduka. Did I learn anything about Galawain just now? Survival begins with strength from within. The air around you stirs, and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of your neck. You catch the faintest smell of wet earth. As you kneel in front of the shrine, you feel yourself pushed forward. You catch yourself on your hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath them. Looking around, you find yourself crouched in a clearing in the middle of the woods. The smell of dirt hangs heavy in the air. Behind you is a darkened room filled with candlelit shrines. Ahead you hear a howl of some kind of hound. You feel certain this is a vision, but the hairs on the back of the nape of your neck still rise.
The scent of sweat, fur, loam, leaves, the discordant howls. I believe Galawain's herald approaches.
Hevraris breathes in deeply, his eyes closed and his head dipped back as he smells the air. His eye opens as a smile settles across his face. His voice becomes equal parts excitement and dread. I believe Galawain's herald approaches. Should I howl back? I will howl back. The beast bays in response, its voice high and clear. The thick undergrowth shivers with movement and heavy paws pound the wet grass. You're not certain if the creature is hunting or leading you, but you instinctively give chase. As you tumble through dew-sparkled bushes and clawing brambles, each stride feels longer than the last. You draw lungfuls of crisp, clear air, and you feel your energy renewed. The rhythm of your stride and the thumping of the beast's paws drive the blood thrumming into your ears. You speed ahead, following the hound's cries. With a split-finger pine crashes to the ground in front of you, a massive bear lunges into the gap and roars. It catches sight of you. You turn and race in the opposite direction, leaping over the fallen tree trunk. Pine cones crunch underfoot. The bear lumbers after you. Its hot breath washes over the back of your neck, filling your nose with the rank odor of slaughter. You see a clearing just past the thicket of broad leaves and sprint toward it. As you break through the foliage, you see a massive lioness curled up in a clearing in front of you. With the last burst of energy, you divert your momentum and hurl yourself into the bushes. Any second now, you expect to feel the bear fall upon you, but a furious roar on the other side of the clearing draws your attention. The bear has stopped at the tree line. It swipes the empty air with claws large enough to rend armor, but it does not advance. The lioness, for her part, twists her body into a tight coil. She growls, her ears pressed against her head, and she makes no move to attack the intruder. Pelagina elbows you. What are you waiting for? When your quarry, take any opportunity to escape that you can. You back deeper into the foliage, keeping your eyes on the two mighty predators. As you crawl backwards, the heel of your hand brushes something furred. A warm sigh grazes your cheek. You freeze in place, slowly turning your head to see what waits behind you. Two amber eyes shine in the darkness.
Holy Hound himself! It's not just his herald, it's the Lord of the Hunt! Here!
The Orlan drops to one knee as his hands dart about his pockets and snatch the rusted hound's head icon buried within. The eyes meet your gaze briefly and then turn to the standoff in the clearing. The hound behind you yawns, fangs flashing. When you turn back, the lion and the bear have disappeared. In their place is a stone wolf's maw, gaping wide enough to swallow you whole. Beyond it is the outline of a temple, towering but indistinct. Blood must feed the maw, watcher. See that a true champion reigns. I really wish I could pray to Margren. Do I need the blessings of many gods? Gods. Okay. So we did Galawain. Let me read about this girl. Aora. Whale. Barath. Waidwin. And Aorthus. Aoths. Audra. And Hylia. No, it's fine. And this is Barath. Okay. Sing, O ocean waves of Andra's sorrow, for her unrequited love of the unattainable moon. Sing of the ocean's sorrow, so that we may forget our own. Each day the tides reenact Andra's longing for the great moon. The waters reach out at high tide, yearning for the heavenly body, only to slump into low tide when the moon proves unattainable. You asked me why I loved Andra so dearly. How could I go from a life on dry land to being a devotee of the goddess of oceans? I sing of the ocean's sorrow so that I may forget my own. It is Andra's message that speaks to my heart. I have devoted my life to helping others discard painful memories. For that is the gift Andra gave me. When I lost my young daughter, my wife and I were inconsolable until a gift bearer offered to take my toddler's toys and cast them into the deepest waters. Truth be told, I and the other gift bearers I know have never spoken to Andra. She is largely silent, and when she does speak, she uses floods and tidal waves instead of words. But we sing of the ocean's sorrow so that others may forget theirs. Andra's story, the story of desire unanswered, actually matters to people like you and me. Margaret cannot steer you to victory over sadness. Hylia cannot force joy down a crying throat. Only Andra can give us the strength to persevere when life seems without worth, and it is that answer to your question regarding why I love the goddess so dearly. Well, this was the wrong goddess. Barath, for sure. Waidwin. Skein. Whale. More Barath. We will come back to her then. Remergrand. The skein is this one. This is Andra's. This is... it might have to be... I need a pen and paper. Because it might actually be... You have to weed out who is what. I think this is that one god. Skein, Bodica, all life ends in stillness. This is Andra. I think this is Hylia. Dog. There's like... This is going to be Barath. And this is going to be... What's her name? Amadea. Amadan. Struggle and all life ends in stillness. I'm like so certain Barath is the wheel god, but I'm gonna double check because I did see his books up there. Oh no, this is Remigrans. Young students are often confused by Barath and Remigrans, seemingly overlapping roles in holding domain over death. Barath oversees the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Remigrand oversees the cold, destructive act of death itself. This difference is often difficult for novices to appreciate until they've lost a loved one and endured the absence of for a time. It is Barath that determines we will be reborn just as certainly as we will die. By Ragman is the executioner. Ragman showed us that all life ends in stillness. Awesome. You feel a sudden gust of cold air, as if the shrine were bursting into wintry life. The frigid wind cuts through you like a sharpened blade, and darkness encroaches upon the edge of your sight. You kneel and close your eyes, and as you pray, the blackness fades to white, and a howling wind fills your ears. The vision that slowly resolves itself is of a broad, frozen plain. You see the procession of elves in the distance, periodically fading into and emerging from the whiteness. They trudge over snow banks, their heads down against the driving winds. As they trek past you, one man bundled in furs turns his head. You headed for Noonfrost, and the frost when breached too? Before you can answer, he's lumbered ahead. You follow the caravan, and in a couple of minutes you come to a wall of ice. It disappears into the pale emptiness overhead and stretches as far as you can see in either direction. The elves stop in front of a mirror, smooth section that's framed like a temple door. It seems somehow thinner than the rest of the wall. You can't see what's on the other side, but its debilitating cold emanates from within. The elves pull pickaxes and shovels from their sealskin packs and begin hacking at the smooth ice, their implements flying through the air in swift, shining arcs. Though they throw their bodies into the labor, not one of them so much as scratches the polished ice, yet with each blow, something bellows in the distance. Paulgina's head whips around to see where the bellowing is coming from. Forget about the elves. We need to be ready to move. She turns again to face you, flexing hands in the cold air. Or fight. The elves hack away, seeming oblivious in the furious lowing, and to the tremors under your feet. The snow has risen to your knees. Your legs feel frozen in the drifts. I am going to try and get the elves' attentions. You grab the nearest elf by her shoulder, shaking her and yelling over the howling winds. You point in the direction of the booming noise, but she only scowls. Leave us, traveler. We've got to get through. We cannot stay on this side any longer. Listen, you're angering something very big. You better stop. The elf strains to listen. As she rests her pick in the mounting snow, some of her fellows pause in their labors. A man with a withered, frostbitten finger turns. He raises his maimed hand, and the others stop as well. They stand motionless for several seconds before you realize they've frozen entirely. You touch the elf nearest to you, and he crumbles into a mound of snow. A final gust blows past, scattering the remains of the elves in a chaotic flurry. You notice a single spider web crack in the smooth barrier, and it's the only thing that mars the perfect surface of the ice. Whatever's on the other side of this strange doorway, you feel it tugging at you. Only when you look back and see that the parallel gashes trailing behind your legs in the snow do you realize how strong its pull is.
My end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach, and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Remergond.
A deep whisper carries from the crag. As quiet as it is, it shakes the ground beneath your feet. Plug the hole with a handful of snow? You fill your hand with snow and shove it into the crack. It hardens instantly, and a hooray of rime grows over the smooth surface of the frozen doorway, fusing it with the rest of the wall. When you take your hand away, a perfect crystal of ice remains in your palm. As you examine the crystal, the vision around you fades, but the unmelting shard of ice remains in your hand. Okay, then his is going to be there is life in death and death in life. There's a rippling shift in the air around you, as if some unfelt wind has changed, bringing unexpected warmth. You feel the peculiar weight of an unseen presence and of eyes upon you. You kneel and pray to Barath. Even while your eyes are closed, you see a road that seems to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwork rotation of constellations, disappearing over the horizons to your left, only to rise to your right. You try to make out the details on either side of the road, but your eyes can't seem to focus. One moment you think you see a meadow blanketed with mist, and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant you see waves lapping at the edges of the road. Were you to step into this shifting landscape, you feel certain you would only end up back on the road. You know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath your feet, and the night air cool on your face. You are walking. Your feet seem to carry you forward of their own accord. Something looms ahead of you. As you get closer, you see two stone figures that look strangely familiar. The two faces of Cyrano, what we call Barath. She shudders slightly, her feathers ruffling as she peers at the figures with apprehension. You remember the door to Cliban Reg, and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looks vaguely male, and the other vaguely female. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which twist to face the doorway between them. The doorway, however, is not what you saw in the ruins. It's a skull, gaping and jawless as you look on. Its open mouth seems to grow. The arm of two stone sculptures are swept towards the mouth, inviting you in. The road continues through the maw to another shifting landscape surrounded by stars. As you pass through it, you see an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stares near it, unmoving. You turn and look behind you, only to see the skull gate you just passed facing you. An elven woman waits in the road. Like the dwarf, she stands still. The road continues through the maw. I think we need to go forward, so we're going to approach the man. You continue down the road towards him. He looks up as you approach, but you can't tell if he's looking at you or through you. His face is smooth but flaccid, as if the flesh is detached from the muscles underneath. As you look on, his face begins to change. Wrinkles crack the corners of his eyes, his mouth sinks, carving deeper lines from his nose to the corners of his lip. His jowls sag, and the loose flesh hangs like dough. He raises his cupped hands. They're covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smears himself with his newly creased forehead to the wattles of his neck. As he massages the dark, sticky fluid into his skin, the fresh wrinkles disappear. The hanging folds recede, and his flesh tightens as if re-adhering to his skull. He lifts his head, and this time, you know he's looking at you. His renewed face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits, yawning like an empty mouth of skulls. Come. Make your sacrifice to Ethic Knoll. His body blocks the path. He extends a bloody hand towards you. You grab his hand, but the skin gives too easily under your grip. As you try to pull away, you hear a noise like dried canvas tearing. His skin splits, following a long seam that begins at his arm and stretches the length of his body. Blood gushes forth in such quantities that you can't imagine there was anything else in him. Sure enough, as the dwarf empties of blood, he collapses like a descended husk. The blood in the path gleams with 1,000 souls' worth of essence, like the essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead can you continue onward. The blood pools around your feet, and you look up and see the elven woman waiting further down the road. You start towards her. There's something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When you get closer, you see that her legs taper into a slender trunk, and in place of feet, her feet are gnarled, twisting roots. She lifts her face to an invisible sun. Her long golden hair is the color of autumn leaves, and as you look more closely, you realize that her head is actually covered with tendrils and vines, sprouting brilliant yellow leaves. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. She gives you a beatific smile, and as you look on, the leaves slowly fall from her head and settle at her roots. They melt into the path beneath her, and almost immediately new leaves sprout in the place of the old. She reaches towards you, still smiling as roots spring from her fingertips. Her outstretched arms bar the path. Come, grant your soul to the golden grove. Her roots twine around your fingers, and as they do, they grow rigid and cold. Her outstretched arm petrifies, and as rough stone bark overtakes her flesh, you can only look on in horror. You break away from her brittle grasp. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and writhes as if trying to flee her own dying limb. The petrification reaches her shoulder and spreads down her body, freezing it in a painful arc. It creeps up her neck, and she throws her face skyward like a drowning swimmer. The grayness covers her face, freezing her grasp in stone. Now that she is still and lifeless, you can continue past her. Only the golden leaves on her head remain untouched, and as you watch, they fall one by one to the path below. They shrivel as if shimmering essence fades from them. The voice echoes along the road, barely more than a whisper on the breeze. Return them to the wheel. You lift your gaze and see the skull gate ahead of you on your path. The candles of Ter Avan wink through the open mouth. Oh, I failed. Oh. The stir, the wheeling overhead. You see two figures, the dwarven man and the elven woman, still waiting on the road to... Oh, I have to go kill them. I actually have to find those people and kill them. Amadea. Barath. Dog. Ondra. That other guy. Skarn. This dude. Wodika. So she's gotta be live every note of life's song. Your words seem to ring in the air, your voice rendered melodic and lilting by some unseen art. You shut your eyes to pray, and as you wait in darkness, the world around you changes. You feel sunlight bright and warm on your face. A light breeze carries music to your ears. As vivid as these sensations feel, you somehow know they are not real. You look around and find yourself standing in an open-air temple built on a mountain summit. It's filled with elves, orlins, and associated other kith. Ringing the entire scene is a fringe of trees, their verdant branches filled with birds of all different colors, shapes, and sizes. Durin spits. A paradise for those who would waste their lives exploring the meaningless while corrupting the meaning of the real world. Oh, to set these trees ablaze, Watcher. Everyone is singularly absorbed in this particular pursuit. An Orlin sits with a canvas, a paintbrush in his hand, and jars of green, blue, and yellow pigments at his feet. An elf and an armora standing to the side are locked in conversation, their expressions dancing with delight. Still, others scribble stanzas of poetry or crude sketches of sheafs of paper, losing themselves in the delicate minuet of lines and syllables. You feel the breeze again, and two elves basking in the sunlight shiver. The largest group gathers in the middle of the temple. They sing a lush, chaotic harmony composed of several complementary melodies. Others drift towards the singers in ones and twos, as if buffeted by a gust of wind or a phrase of the song. A ripple passes through the trees. You think it's the wind, but the chirping changes to screeching. Hundreds of birds take to the sky, all headed in one direction, away. Havaris emits a series of chirping bird calls as the flock scrambles into the air. This is bad, Haravis munders, his face turning sour. Something is spooked. Something has them spooked, but they won't tell me what. Then again, I think I mispronounced my bird song and probably called them incontinent. The devotees glance at the trees, just barely distracted from their activities, but the wind picks up, scattering their pages of poetry and art, ripping the songs from their lips. They look skyward, and you follow their gaze. A dark shape blots out the sun. You can't tell what it is, but it unfolds and expands. It seems to fill the sky. The wind roars over the summit. Seldom a good sign. Before you can flee, a shadow falls over the temple. It begins as a stain in the corner and spreads, blotting out the flagstones. It reaches the nearest kith, a black-furred Olin. The darkness swallows her, leaving only a puff of smoke in her place. The two elves that you saw earlier, a man and a woman, flee. You get a brief image of them huddled in the shadow of a mountain. They seem to see you too, and they reach out, calling silently after you. The others, however, seem frozen. As the shadow advances, they likewise vanish one by one. The driving gale scatters their ashes and the charred remains of their creations. The grieving mother holds her head. Songs of joy turn to screams of agony. What purpose, what lesson could possibly lie behind such destruction? You look up again at the source of the shadow, but the eclipsed sun forms a blinding corona around the thing. You can't make out any details. You can, however, feel heat. Restore my temple. You look down and find yourself standing next to Hylia's shrine at Ter Avan. Your pulse still races and your skin is damp with sweat from your strange encounter. So I have duties to do. I want to pray to Margaret. Durance, this is your bitch. It feels like you should be able to. I didn't say any bad words. So...
Will do.
Gotta restore a temple, gotta kill some people. I think I have to kill one of you.
What do you wish to know? Until we meet again.
Hold on.
What do you wish? We will tell you what. Behind us is Ter Evron. What do you wish to? Until.
Okay. Guess not. So I have seen all that I could possibly see. Yeah, that's a big whoopsie doopsie. No, I haven't been to the Blood Sands. Maybe it is easy. Ah, beans. Well, hold on. I'll talk to you in a second. Is this considered stealing?
I'll stay out of sight.
I guess if you have to ask, the answer is in fact yes.
I'll stay out of sight. I'll stay out of sight.
Yes.
Hail, Estremor.
The elderly dwarf blinks at you, not quite looking at you. Her eyes are pale and clouded with cataracts. Welcome to Bloodsands. It is rare that an Estremor sets foot in these caverns. Her sightless eyes fix on you as she tilts her head. What brings you here, I wonder? What do you do here? I sell and maintain certain goods for the preservation of our order, and I perform some of our ritual sacrifices. How do these sacrifices work? Like any worthwhile ritual, it is too complex to explain in detail. It involves the clotting of a supplicant's essence, binding it to their life's blood, and drawing it into a container or vessel. Tell me about the blood sands. This, the raw, bloody heart of Aragonaf, where some come to give their essence back to their people. Her dry lips bent into a sardonic grin. There were others, where others seek a noble escape from their trials. The legacy of the builders to the tribes was not merely ardra and stone, but a sense of community, and it is here that the Glafethians come to sacrifice what is most precious, even their own lives, to preserve it. Oh, I was supposed to come here if I wanted to kill that child. But I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't kill the child. Oh, interesting. I imagine I can cause quite a fuss here. The bravest sons and daughters fall not by swords, of Estremorn, but by the daggers of their brethren.
Yes.
It is tempting to go hog wild in this group of maniacs, but
See now what the flame has shown us?
I didn't open that, in case you were wondering. Yeah, no problem.
Silence surrounds me.
Wait, not yet.
See now what the flame has shown us?
I didn't steal anything. If anyone asks, it wasn't me. Oh, hello.
Nice and quiet.
And the fire shows me something
Thing
new.
new. Hell yeah.
A simple test. That's settled.
Hey, keep walking. I'm looting here. Damn, a bitch can't steal anything these days.
Oh?
Oh, 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 oh. Hi. The blood of sacrifice waters the soil of Ergonoth. It's tempting to just go buck wild on these fools, but I'm not gonna. I've already murdered an entire clan. I mean, it's true. But look at my benevolent and honest and passionate and diplomatic stats. I don't want to ruin that.
Something over there.
Where? Petitioner before you is swaddled in loose-fitting robes. Her hair is greasy and matted. A glossy film of sweat and grime coats her exposed skin. She has the swollen features of pregnancy and several missing teeth in her big grinning smile. As you approach, she slowly turns to you and examines you from head to toe, smiling the entire time. "Joyous day to you," she says, despite coming from a wearied body. Her voice sounds resonant and relaxed. "I am Naka, midwife and lorekeeper." Her hands run across the slight bulge in her belly. She rolls her head back and sighs a relaxed purr. Are you feeling well?" "Flawless," she replies. "Apologies, I should be left to my meditation. The rite of strength is invigorating, almost overwhelming to the senses." Oh, I can see where you get that. She reaches down and cradles her belly in her hands and turns away. Yeah? Do you mind if I just take this fish? Thank you. Nice pit. The heat emanating from this pool threatens to singe the flesh of your face. We don't want that. This is where I start fighting, huh?
Flows, so shall your essence. Your life's energy shall feed the soil, and your soul's energy shall enrich the community. This is by your own choosing, supplicant?
A dwarven man stands on a raised platform. Beneath him, an elf lies prone on a stone table. As you get closer, you hear the dwarf speak in a gravelly monotone. Yes, the elf's voice is high but even. I actually believe this is the dwarf I'm supposed to kill, because in my vision he had blood on his hands, and he used the blood to make himself young again. And I suspect that is what's going on here. I am rolling up my sleeves to do a murder. The dwarf grips a hatchet with both hands and raises it over his head. He throws his shoulders forward and swings the weapon into the elf's chest, connecting with a meaty thump. Blood gushes around the blade, and the sacrifice's screams rend the air. Alop's lips curl with disgust. This is why I prefer the wand to the blade. This is what bothers you, Aloth? Despite his earlier agreement, the elf thrashes atop the stone table, his torso arching while his arms and legs remain tied in place. Meanwhile, the dwarf spreads his arms wide and allows blood to splatter his robes. When the elf is finally silent and still, the dwarf pulls his hatchet from the body and wipes it on his hem. Yep, good show, everybody, good show. Streaks of red-brown blood and globs of tissue have worked themselves into the minute grooves of the stone. Disgusting. The dwarf wears crimson robes that are stained and streaked with dark patches. His face is smooth but lacking youthful elasticity. It is as if the lines and wrinkles have been formed and erased many times over. He watches you with eyes like two black pits as he wipes his hatchet on his robes. Hail, Estramor.
No one comes to Blood Sands without a purpose. What is yours?
Hell yeah. Baroth believes it's time you paid your dues. Rushton grunts. Then he can descend from his mighty pantheon and tell me himself. Actually, that's why I'm here.
Since when do the gods send mortals to collect? You don't exactly look like the Pallid Knight. This is the trouble with deities. They meddle in a world that they don't even inhabit. I hope they promised you something better for your next life.
Alright. Aloth, you're in a bit of trouble. Actually, we're all in a bit of trouble. Probably. Okay, well, you're here. Fuck, I was worried about that. Aloth, you need to cast magic so fucking fast.
Love. Mow it.
Let's have it up!
Oh. This wasn't nearly as hard as I was expecting it to be.
Love beyond.
Consider.
Oh shit.
The
How may I help you? Love.
Arthur with wrath.
For the Republic!
That's it.
I have let this get out of hand by accident.
These ones are in.
Certainly. Oh?
We're still fighting. I don't think anyone else in this temple is going to be overly pleased about what we just did. Thank you for your clothing. I'll also take this pot. I'm also gonna camp for safety, in case I have to fight my way out of here.
Certainly.
Right. Let's be hitting that dusty trail. Oh no, well, this is very bad.
That's it!
Oh,
Yes.
they just fell over. Grieving Mother, would you like to also come?
Oh?
Yeah? Thank you.
Hmm?
That's it!
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain,
Oh?
so we're just, your character, you're like Malibu protag.
Hmm?
Oh, are you? I hope you like it. There's like a lot you can do with this game. Hey, bear.
Not even slowing it down!
Certainly.
Arthur.
Someone check on Alok!
Oh, he's fine. He just fell over. Who's attacking us now? Everyone's so mad at me.
Certainly.
I need to get out of here. I have killed, of the 3 places you can go in this zone, I have killed everyone in 2 of them. That's fair. Like, alright, I need to go to the Old Song District. I can't. Is this one right here? And I was already over there, and there's no war. There's no war in Ba Sing Sing. was funny. Alright, where to start? Oh, Hylia's shrine. I have to restore her temple. I also have to do that. Oh,
We can't stay down here. Someone must go to the nest eventually.
The two wood elves, a man and a woman, wear colorful robes embroidered with matching emblem, a winged egg. Apart from their clothing, they couldn't be more different. She folds her arms and continually skulls at the broken walls around them. He, on the other hand, mutters prayers, his shade-dappled face as tranquil as the cloudless sky.
Just how are we supposed to worship the Sky Mother from among the weeds, This is a disgrace.
Calm yourself. We should be grateful that she protected us from the winged terror.
Alphino?
Besides, even here we have a visitor.
Actually, I received a vision from Hylia. She bid me speak with you about the menace that settled over her temple.
A vision from the goddess herself? What a rare and fortunate blessing.
Onwyn squints at you. Your vision did reveal that the menace is a dragon, yes? She steps back and gives you a long look. To be honest, I expected the Sky Mother would summon a whole flock of warriors to fight this monster. I fear so few will be like sparrows attacking an eagle. But if Hylia has tasked you, then who are we to doubt? Owen is right, however. You must prepare yourself for a powerful and crafty foe. The nest and the dragon are perched atop a mountain beyond the Northwild. He points northward along the path. Follow this trail into the wilderness, and then look for another path carved into the cliffs. May the Sky Mother's blessings aid you. Language is also sacred to our goddess. Something else you wish to speak of? I have questions about this dragon. We will tell you as much as we can. He gives Onwyn a stern look. Has this sort of thing happened before? Never. Our order would have started to reassemble the fangs a long time ago. Perhaps there's a reason this has happened now? She scowls. Let us be clear. You suggest that there's some misdeed in our midst, that we have committed a crime against our goddess or some other and received our just punishment? Onwyn, please. He lays a hand on her shoulder. She shakes his hand off. I don't know why these things happen. Why our own mother goddess allowed scores of her followers to perish among the flames. She narrows her eyes, speaking between her teeth. And if you discover why, I invite you to come back and tell the rest of us. How did the dragon come to be here? With a great beating of wings and a fiery roar. Who knows why those beasts come and go? It's here, and that's what matters. If you're asking why this happened, only the gods know. I suspect it's a test of faith from Hylia herself, but who can say? Well said, Heveris interrupts with a chuckle. Those two have a little bit of whale in them. He breathes in deeply, smiling as if awashed by the smell of baked goods. This is a mystical playground controlled by unknowable deities. There are so many other things to worry about than the how and the why of, well, anything. When did the dragon first show up? He looks skyward, thinking. It was several weeks ago. The creature cloaked the sky like a thundercloud and descended upon us all at once. There was no warning. Can you tell me anything else about the dragon? She opens her mouth, a crooked sneer on her face, but seems to think better of whatever she was about to say. After a pause, she says, Nothing. We truly wish we could tell you more, but we, like the rest of Hylia's faithful, were running for our lives, and we were more than fortunate than most. This is the Temple of Hylia?
You hear this, Wag?
This bitch is awful.
Relax, Anouin. I'm sure she meant nothing by it. Forgive my consort. She's been rather excitable of late. This is not, as you seem to recognize, our actual temple. It's merely a shrine we've set up, after this business with the dragon.
I'd like to know more about Hylia.
Why, she's the goddess of song, art, the sky, and maternity. She's gentle and brilliant, speaking to her followers in dreams, inspiration, and birdsong. It is said that she wears a cloak adorned with a feather from every bird known to kith or wilder, and that she manifests in the flocks themselves.
Aye, and in the screams of childbearing, which I can assure you is not so beauteous a thing.
And this is true, which is why midwives are widely considered clergy of Hylia, as are many artists and poets. In any case, those of us who follow her feel closest to her splendor in a place where we might share light, song, and a view of the blessed sky.
Oh?
I will deal with that dragon probably tomorrow. Oh, hey, what's going on here? Yeah? A chill hovers over the frozen lake, draining the air of warmth. Ah, beans. This man looks like he's about to fucking fight me. The pale elf searches you with ice blue eyes. He shifts and knits his fingers together. Welcome to Noonfrost. Most of the temple is currently closed for sacred ceremonies to Rimagrand. She forces a smile and waves to the eastern doorway. The shrine is to your right. You're welcome to make your offerings to Rimagrand there, but the rest of the temple is off limits. I'm looking for Frostwen Breach. The barest flush rises to her pale cheeks. As I said, only the shrine to the eastern wing is open. The rest of the temple is closed to visitors right now. I suggest that you make your devotions there and leave. Her cheeks flush, Watcher. Perhaps she misinterpreted what you meant by Frostwen Breach. Tell me about Rimagrand. He is the god of cold, entropy, and collapse. Many see him as a harsh god, but few recognize that he also gives life in his own way. All things win to a merciful end in his shadow, only to feed creation elsewhere. She frowns, gnawing her lip. But he is a silent god, and his ways are mysterious. To follow him is to accept inevitability without explanation. In this matter, and in the legacy, it seems that gods are often silent when we most crave guidance. Why is most of this temple closed? As I said, we're in the middle of sacred ceremonies. She initiates carefully. They're rather complex, and we don't permit outsiders to witness them. She glances at the elves over her shoulder. Others of my clan can get rather touchy about them, which is why you should visit the shrine and take your leave. What are you doing here? My clan journeyed from the White that wends to pay homage to Rimagrand here at Noonfrost. We'd learned about this place that had been abandoned for several years, and we felt it our duty to tend to one of our god's oldest temples. She rolls her shoulders back. It has been a long journey, but Rimagrand demands endurance. No doubt that he will reward us for ours. The water in the swell has frozen solid, trapping small fish from the lake underneath the temple. Reflected light dapples an icy mirror behind the statue. Venturing beyond all doors is forbidden. Do not trespass against our will. Okie dokie.
A simple test. That's settled.
I'll see what I can find.
I think I'm about to get into combat.
Don't even dare to take you!
It was just a little murder. Do you think the rest of the temple's cool?
Certainly. Yes. I'm ready.
How? No, everyone's super pissed.
I bring your end.
Yeah, that's fair.
Finish them!
You don't like my oohs?
Certainly.
A simple test. That's settled.
Ooh. I'm just being real sneaky. I just got...
See now what the flame has shown us?
I did just get this god's favor. I hope he's not super pissed. Hold on. I am just absolutely looting his temple, and I don't think gods are super fond of that. Hello? A young Orlan scrambles on the floor, pressing her back against the wall and baring her teeth at you. Her fur is patchy and matted. As you step into the room, she squints and turns her large ears towards you. A heavy sigh escapes her tiny body. Beast, take me! My eyes mistook you for one of them. Please get me out of here. What happened to you? When Noonfrost began freezing the lake, my sister Larha sent me to seek out the cause. She scrawls at this dingy room. The pale elf Estremorn seized me before I could report back. These pale elves are behind it. They showed up at the Twin Elves not long ago, saying they wanted to see the upkeep of Noonfrost. I don't know how, but they opened the Frosthoyne breach at the back of the temple. Sucks warmth, the life straight out of their frozen god's barren domains. She shivers. They've got to be stopped. It's only a matter of time before the cold spreads further. It isn't safe yet. Wait here until I clear a path. Please hurry. Okay. So I am actually supposed to just absolutely be slaughtering these clowns, which is good because that is how I like to do things.
This ends here.
I bring your end. Join arms!
How?
Join arms!
Don't even slow it down!
Attack!
Yes.
Yes.
On the bright side, I'm too numb to feel cold now.
I'm happy for you, Ella.
That's settled.
Bring your end.
That's super bad.
Breathe through Likna.
Into the fray!
No.
delicious. Man, I don't get spring break anymore. And I'll eat Wendy's whenever I damn well please. Is my girl... No, it's Grieving Mother that's acting buckwild. Ooh, what package?
Yes. Certainly.
Snackies? Hell yeah.
That's settled. A simple test. That's settled.
Thick patches of fur cling to the tent leather. Oh, I bet they killed a lot of Orlans. Despite the chill, the bedrolls feel warm inside. Oh, I bet they're killing Orlans right now, actually.
Oh?
Oh. Look at this fancy chair. Oh, hello. That man crumpled like a stack of bricks. Thank you. I will take those books.
Yes.
Everybody's
Now
fine.
this I haven't seen before.
And then the flames show me something new. I know that's where I gotta go. There's some things I want to do before I tackle that. Oh, Eleth has something to say.
If those Delumgon are right, you and I are stuck with our awakenings. Not quite the news I was hoping for.
I am concerned about you. How are you taking this?
Oh, the knowledge that a barely civilized bumpkin will share my mind and body for the rest of my life? That's kind of you to ask.
Don't be an asshole.
I'd always believed that Isselmere was an ailment I could cure myself of one day. But now, to think she'll be around forever.
She's not that bad.
Overstarched tunics, burnt toast, Rawatai sherry, those are not that bad. But having a stranger pop in and out of your head at will, it's unpleasant, I assure you.
I am in the same situation, you absolute cock. He sighs. And on the bright side, I've got plenty of time to figure out how to deal with her. He's such a baby. Like it or not, she's part of you. And she could be a source of strength if you learn to work with her.
It's strange. I've lived with her most of my life, and I've always seen her as an adversary. It should have occurred to me the day she stood up to my father. But there's something about being too close to a situation to see it clearly. It will be a relief to stop fighting her.
Even as he says it, something struggles within him. The muscles in his face twitch and his skin quivers. His eyes roll back in his skull, exposing slivers of white. Sweat beads and glistens on his forehead. After several seconds, he sighs and looks back at you. wasn't as difficult as I expected. I think deep down, I'd always hoped to find a solution elsewhere. When I was a child, I always thought my mother would come home with a mysterious cure, or that my father, without knowing it, could somehow send her away just as he called her forth. I can't pretend that I didn't spend years of my arcane training hoping that one of my instructors would have the answer somewhere in his grimoire. When I joined the Laden Key, I hoped and believed that with enough loyal service I'd gain the ear of someone in the organization who could help me. Even when I met you and realized your unique talents, I hoped that you might be able to reach into my soul the way I'd seen you do with so many others. I've been looking for someone else to solve my problem, and now I realize that I've got to face it on my own. I've been with you the whole way, and I still am. He's voiced by Matt Mercer.
That means a great deal to me.
I didn't use any
Truly.
gamer words. I would never use a gamer word.
That reminds me of something else the Derangon said. About the gods not being real.
He says it quietly, as if afraid someone would overhear him. They did tell us to pray to God, so that can't entirely be true.
Yes, I suppose so. Still, I can't help but worry at the state we'd be in if that was somehow true. If there were no power guiding us in this life and shepherding us to the next.
I'm sure we'd, I'm sure we'd find our own way on our
I
own.
hope you're right.
We should get moving.
Hmm?
I've completely lost track of. No, Hanzo's not a banned word anymore.
Hmm?
I've already been in here. I need to go this way. It was so funny that it was. What are you guys doing? Stop it.
Oh?
Where is Durance? Is everybody here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Certainly.
Oh, he's running.
Death comes for you!
Take you!
Oh, beans.
That didn't work! Need to try something else!
No, that one. Oh my god. I can't click on my characters. There we go. That's... oh, because he's not controllable right now, for whatever reason.
As one!
Hey, would you like to tell me what the hell you're doing over here? Why you're tanking another mage? What is happening? I can't count on anybody.
Need something?
I need you to do your job. Don't die. Nice.
Forth to battle!
not even slowing us down!
Certainly.
There's more in here? Oh, please. I don't think anyone should really be a Doomfist, man. The pages of this tome glisten under a thick layer of frost.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can go back to that girl and tell her it's safe. Because I'm pretty sure I've wasted everybody in this temple. There you go. She turns towards the hall, her large ears angled forward. As fast as my feet can carry me. She scrambles for the exit, on emaciated arms and legs. At the door, she glances back at you. Thank you, Estremor. And be careful. She melts into the shadows. Well, I don't make the rules. I was content to sneak in, and then everyone started shit with me. And I was just responding with violence. It's really not my fault. I don't think I've done anything wrong.
Oh?
I have killed a lot of people in this town, though. Like an exceptional amount of people. As you near the platform, the temperature drops sharply. Something saps every last bit of warmth from the air, leaving your breath of your lungs cold as it escapes your lips. You see a doorway filled in with glowing ice. Silhouetted against it is an elven man, his arms outstretched.
What have you done? This useless slaughter, Please, just let me finish what we came here to do.
The pale elf turns to look at you, exhaustion written on his elegant face. He rubs one red eye with the heel of his hand, and you notice that his little finger has shriveled to a blackened nub. His eyes raise to the carnage around you. Remigand asked me to close the Frostwen breach. His red eyes widen. You are a woman of compassion. Would you trap us here another 100 lifetimes? He shakes his head, weariness creeping back into his eyes. We cannot continue like this. We've got to find a way into the White Void. The White Void?
Rimergon's domain. A place where all things are mingled like snowflakes in a blizzard. It's a vortex of such chaos that even the Beast of Winter himself could not calculate the trajectory of the infinite particles of essence there. As souls are broken down over successive reincarnations, they become part of the White Void. It is a place where all things find perfect unity and freedom.
Hey man, if the god there doesn't want you to be there, you just can't be there. It's not my rules, it's his.
The frost-hewn breach is a weak spot in the barrier between us and the White Void. Thin ice on a frozen lake. We've come from the White that wends to find it.
And you want to open the breach.
So that we can die. Permanently. We've lived more lifetimes than any mortal should. We've been faithful followers of Rimergon since our earliest incarnations. He's the god of entropy. Why would he force us to be reborn again?
I don't know. Gods are dicks. Heveras looks at Gashful solemnly and then looks to you. That rage sounds pretty familiar. Why did the god of Seekers punish me for asking a question? Still, I wish I could give him peace. Whale has shown me. The gods act in ways that are unknowable to us. To ascribe them motivations is to assume that they could be folk, not gods. Better to accept in advance than learn to lament and stay stuck in one place.
But if anything could pass through the frost-hewn breach, it would enter directly into the White Void. This death is overdue for us. We just have to find a way through.
I am not going to betray a god that's supposed to help me to the end game. That is not how we do this. You cannot oppose the will of a god. He laughs, but his eyes do not. You think that because Ramagard spoke to you in a dream, you can march in here and tell us about his will, or that your elegant words will direct our faith. We followed him and suffered by him, for almost as long as the temple has stood. Now we seek to this very end that he promises. Do not lecture me about the duties to my god. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to kill them. There's no peaceful solution to this. This god told me to do this thing, and I'm going to do it because he's going to help me. Alright, I guess it's ass-kicking time. I wish I had leveled you up. Oh, it's not too late! Hell yeah. Transfer flackering of necrotic energy into... Alice, like, wait, I gotta level up. Okay. Time to kill a lot of people. Oh, my bear's about to get beat. Okay, you go there. Transform. You help my bear. And you're gonna summon tentacles, because that's just how we play the game. And I'm a swords person now, unfortunately. Okay. Why are you not going?
Join arms!
Oh, she's already down. Good, 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 good. I see what happened here. Nobody did what they were supposed to do. That's okay. Uh-oh. You need to go. You haven't done anything.
Not even slow it down! Mow it.
I see what's happening, and it's actually quite bad.
Mow it.
I'm getting possessed. Are you capable of doing things? Shit.
What? Attack! Yeah?
Join arms!
Somebody is doing some healing. That one. That's part of my huge problem. Healer's got
Need to try something else.
There she goes. Cast a lot of spells very quickly.
Our dauntless Valiant isn't doing so well.
To battle!
That's it.
Lavaru, be on seek! Lavaru, be on seek! Attack!
Ooh, that got spicy. A pedestal of black ice rises from the floor. Long, finger-like ice crystals are hardened and clear as diamond, surround the pierced altar. A hole has been gouged out in the middle of the altar, though it cannot be more than a few inches deep. It sucks at the air around you. I'm gonna plug that hole up. The shard fits perfectly. As it settles into place, the cold around the altar dissipates. Similarly, the portal before you seems to thicken, and the mysterious seepage tapers off.
Yes.
The Frost Twin breach lies dormant now, nothing more than a perfectly smooth wall of ice. So what do I have to do? I have to restore Hylia's temple, and that means fighting the dragon, and then I have to find that elf, and kill her. Burial Isle. So, there's a couple more things to look into tomorrow. We'll do the dragon tomorrow for sure. But that's gonna have to be it for me today. I'm afraid I cannot stay any longer today. I know I started a tiny bit late, but, the raid bell tolls and I must go. So thank you so very, very much for being here and watching. It was a very exciting episode. I did so much murder. Oh, that's right. You're back. You, followed dun, 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 just as I had finished, last stream. So thank you for that so much. If you are looking for the beginning of this series or any of my other series, you can find those on YouTube. If you're looking for updates, you can find those on both my Twitter and my Discord, all of which are linked in the About section, along with all the people that have helped make this stream possible. So my biggest and most heartfelt thanks to them. And that is it. I'll be back with more Pillars of Eternity at 6 p.m. EST tomorrow. Or, if you would like to catch me earlier, I play Darkest Dungeon at 2 p.m. EST. So until then, I hope you all have a lovely evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye!